Olivas from New Mexico. I will reserve the right to leave all the remaining time to delegate from New York Collins.
That is your right.
Thank you. The FCC was created for a reason, to regulate and deregulate the communication content around our society. If we let things run wild like the proposal states, it would be like not having any laws in our society. Even though many people don't agree with our laws in our society, they are there to protect us from the harms that will always be out there. Seeing as well that the internet providers will also be let wild, internet providers will bleed American people by making their own codes of conduct. You don't want board of directors or CEOs making these decisions. They need to be done by the people, government. Just like you don't want to see nudity on your child's television or hearing profanity on your radio, I want my government to protect the young children who are forced into pornography. I want my government to protect us all. Thank you, and I leave the remaining time to...
Delegate, you have 45 seconds.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Nicholas Collins from New York. The difference between government, there are many different governments that restrict the internet, and I think the U.S. should be one of them. The difference is that in Iran, the government restricts the internet activity of college students at the University of Tehran who think that it is unlawful, who post blogs about their government killing its own citizens. In the United States, we would restrict terrorist activities, such as in a recent case of a terrorist organization posting the address of the producers of South Park on its website so that the members of its organization could commit acts against these people. Also, I agree with the previous delegate who said that parents don't have the responsibility to make sure that their kids are not victims of pornography or watching.
I'm sorry, delegate, your time has elapsed.
All right, this is from Wisconsin, and I would like to reserve the right to yield the rest of my time to Poinseo from New Mexico.
That is your right.
Sorry. Thank you, Chair. Would the author please yield to a potential series of questions?
Author, do you yield?
Of course.
He yields.
In your proposal, you reference the Department of Defense and their multiple censorships, yes?
Yes.
When you responded to a non-debatable technical question, you said that this would not apply to military branches. So I would just like you to clarify that.
Oh, okay. Well, this is barring the federal government from restricting the internet, which has been proposed and done on several occasions, but there are branches of the military, particularly the CIA, that has the ability to go into other nations, but the CIA currently has had no precedent and has no ability to restrict what Americans can see. That has been currently just done by the federal government. The CIA can only go into other countries.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you very much. I yield my time to the delegate from New Mexico.
Delegate, you have 45 seconds.
Thank you, Madam Chair. One Gonzalo from the enchanting land of New Mexico. First of all, we all have the right to explore the world through the means of the internet. We all have the right to educate ourselves through the means of the internet. And we have the right to view silly YouTube videos, to Wikipedia pages, to perhaps more provocative websites. And I just want to make clear that many people have gone up here to talk about things along the line of child pornography, but I want to make it very clear that under this proposal, the act of producing child pornography would still be illegal. The act of cyberbullying would still be illegal. We are not eliminating that. We're simply eliminating an overbearing government from...
I'm sorry, delegate, your time is elapsed.
Nat from Ohio, I reserve my right to yield the remainder of my time to Levitt from Washington, D.C.
That is your right.
Will the author yield to a series of questions?
Author, do you yield to a series of questions, author? Author, do you yield to a series...
Yes, I do.
Author, do you know the statistic of all teens that have experienced cyberbullying on the internet?
No.
The National Crime Prevention Council calculates that in 2007, 57% of all teens within the United States have had a cyberbullying effect under the age of 18. Cyberbullies disclose someone's real name, address, phone number, and other personal information, and they can divulge this on internet sources. Right now, under your proposal, you're saying the government cannot...
Sorry, delegate, you are out of order for not referring to the author as the author and directing your comments directly to them.
Thank you.
Please sit down.
John Ferry of Maliwan. I reserve my right to yield time to Fini from Maliwan.
That is in order.
Since the time of the beginning of the progressive era in the early 1900s, we have seen an increasing amount of intrusion on our freedoms. The internet has served as an unbarred source of freedom and information. Not only this, but the internet has resulted in one of the largest economic booms in our history. And it continues to provide one of the largest, fastest growing industries we have ever seen. Regulation can only lead to the possibility of the abolition of freedom from ignorance. Freedom from ignorance, my fellow Americans, is what allows us, Americans, to best contribute to our political system. Furthermore, regulation and abuse of regulation, as seen with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, can only inevitably lead to the downfall of an industry. I know your concerns. Who will protect our children from the internet? Who will protect us from fraud? The answer is that your Americans around you, parents, fraud associations, etc., protect you. The government has no place trying to fix a system that is not broken. I yield the rest of my time to Tom.
You have 55 seconds.
Tom Feeney representing Model UN. Thank you.
Delegates.
Tom Feeney representing Model UN. Sorry about that. Thank you, John and Sir Chair, Madam Chair. The internet is the greatest tool that our generation has. It allows our communication and everything about us to be expressed, and we can utilize it to improve our economy, improve our quality of life. It's something that should not be regulated by the government. But yet the government, with this proposal, would still be allowed to arrest people on the internet for committing illegal things, such as threats to others through terroristic threats, and also child pornography, and a whole list of other things. They'd still be able to be arrested, but they would be allowed to have free speech. So justice would be brought, and free speech would be kept. This proposal is perfect because of this. I yield the remainder of the time to the chair. Thank you.
Delegate West of New Jersey. Thank you, Madam Chair. I reserve my right to yield the remainder of my time to Delegate Cui from Month.
That is your right.
Will the Madam Chair, will the author yield to a series of questions?
Author, do you yield to a series of questions? Author, do you yield?
Oh God, I'm sorry. There's so many people here. Yes, I do.
He yields.
Okay. Is it true that the government has previously shut down child pornography websites?
Yes, that's true.
After this proposal, will they be able to do that?
They will not be able to shut down the websites, no, but they will be able to bring the people that have...
It is unethical to restrict government power when they have the ability to help prevent despicable and disgusting sites from being on the internet. If this proposal passes, government officials will no longer be able to have that ability. All right, thank you. I yield the remainder of my time to Delegate Cui.
You have 1 minute, Delegate.
Greg Cui from Model United Nations. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, fellow delegate. We've talked a lot about making the internet a vehicle of change and democracy and hope and freedom, but I was unaware that terrorism and child pornography are bastions of hope and freedom. I was also unaware that the compelling state government interest in protecting our national security comes secondary to the speech rights of terrorists and child pornographers, some terrorists who are not even American citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, criminal activity are not things that are covered under the First Amendment rights, and that is why we don't keep the government from arresting drug dealers in the interest of free trade. Ladies and gentlemen, if you pass this resolution, you will leave the government negligent from protecting us from these evil men. 9/11 and the recent near tragedy in New York shows us that we need to pursue every avenue in fighting the war on terror. And that is why it concerns me that in the proposal, the author makes use of the phrase, only 4,800 terrorist websites. Ladies and gentlemen, I am left unsatisfied and insecure if there is one terrorist website proponing violence.
I'm sorry, Delegate. Your time has elapsed.